Hey everyone, I'm Mine, and this is set number 76989, the LEGO Horizon Forbidden West Tallneck. This set contains 1,222 pieces, 1 minifigure, and will retail for $79.99 in the US. This set does not come out until May 1st, 2022, but it was sent to me early by the LEGO Group through the LEGO Ambassador Network, but all opinions expressed in this video are my own. So here is the Tallneck, and I'll start this video off by saying I've never played Horizon Zero Dawn or Horizon Forbidden West. In fact, I don't even own a console that can play those games. But when the set was revealed, I thought it looked beautiful, and now having it in hand, I can honestly say this is one of the best sets I've ever built, and might just be the best LEGO set ever made. That might sound like a really bold claim, but I am just blown away by how amazing this set is in every single aspect. I'll take you through it all a little closer in a moment, but I just wanted to give you a second to take this all in, just how nice it all looks. But yeah, just such a fantastic build, so unique, genuinely just so beautiful. I love every little bit of this. But yeah, now let's move up a little bit closer. So we'll start with the head of the Tallneck. You can see it's got this large disc-shaped head. A few stickers are up here, and I really love the whole technique used to build this. I'm amazed like how rounded they made it. And you can see there's like studs going in all directions, right? The entire build of this was so much fun to put together, and I never knew where it was going next. And putting it together, it kind of looked really ugly, and I wasn't expecting it to come together this well. But no, this looks fantastic and beautiful. But even still, I think the top of the head is by far the worst part of the build, because everything else looks even better. But yeah, it's just a really cool look. Around the back of the head, you have these things that are sort of like antlers, and it uses these large sort of ski-like pieces turned upside down, and these are actual mini ball joints, so you can move them around a little bit if you want, and there's a total of 4 of them here, 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, and you can see it's the same thing going on the other side here. Behind that, there is a gold bar, so if you want, you can have Aloy jump up here. You can have her like climbing up the back of the Tallneck's head like that, which I'm not sure if that was the intended functionality behind that bar, but it's a really cool option. There's a few stickers around the side and front of the head, and that just adds to the overall like mechanical look to it. And then finally, the head itself can be hinged a little bit. You can push it back, and then back even further. There's only 3 total options for the head, but it still allows you to get some expression in this thing, and I appreciate that being there. Makes it feel a lot more alive. And then coming to the neck, I love how they did like these mechanical scales right here, and these pieces going back on the side, it looks so pretty. And then around the back, there's these gold blades, and these are personally my least favorite part of the build. Not because they look bad, just because it's annoying to try to get them all oriented the same way, and if you're moving this thing around or playing with it at all, they're very easily to just like dislodge and move around. Which I'm not sure if that's accurate to the game, I'm not sure if these do move on the actual creature, but regardless, in terms of just display, I prefer for them to like all be in the same spot, and it can just be a little annoying. Certainly not a huge deal in the grand scheme of things, but that is definitely my least favorite part of this set, which has to tell you the rest of the set's pretty darn good. Coming to the back, you can see we have 3 different stickered pieces right here. No studs or anything for minifigures to sit, however, there is definitely room in here, so you could very easily modify this to have studs for a minifigure to sit if you wanted. Again, not sure if that would be accurate to the game, but if you wanted a character to ride this, my point is you could very easily make it so that they can. But that aside, I just love the texturing and everything here. It looks so fantastic. Coming down a little bit more, we get to the main body of the creature. Again, there's another bar where if you want a minifigure to hold on to that, you can, and there's how that looks. But I love the tops of these legs too. They are on like rigid Technic joints, so they can move, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But you can see they look perfectly integrated into the body. I do think the world of Horizon does lend itself really well to LEGO, because one of LEGO's biggest issues when creating organic creatures has always been the joints. The joints tend to look pretty mechanical, but here kind of mechanical works. Even still, I think this is one of the most organic looking joints I've ever seen, and it fits perfectly into the build. It doesn't feel like anything was left out for the sake of a toy. No, this one's got the looks and the functionality. It's absolutely perfect. The color choice here is fantastic as well. I love the little bits of tan and sand blue with the overall black and white color scheme, and the varied texture too. One of my biggest complaints with LEGO recently is whenever they want to add texture, they just really overuse these ingot pieces. But no, if you take a look at this build, there's a lot of texturing, and they do use the ingots a little bit, but they use so many different varied parts to create texture, and I think that's what like really ties this set together. I also really appreciate how they took the care to flatten out the backs of every leg. There's not just studs or anti-studs back here. There is a few studs throughout the build, but I think they're tastefully put there. But yeah, look how covered up the backs of these legs are. And again, that makes this feel so much more like a creature and less like a toy. This feels like a proper model of this creature. You can see there's like 4 tails coming out the very back of the Tallneck. These are on hinges, so they can be moved a little bit, and they're connected on like the action pose pieces, so you can rotate them a little bit too. And of course, that's the same on both sides, as well as between the top and the bottom. And then finally for the Tallneck, coming down to the bottoms of the legs and the feet. The legs get really thin, which tends to be something that will make LEGO sets look bad. If they try to go too thin, it just will not feel as organic. But no, this is done super well. It's all integrated perfectly. It's pretty much just a Technic pin connection system. Like, it's literally just like one Technic axle with stuff built on top of it. But wow, they did it so well. I think something like this angle is the worst angle to look at it, and even still, this looks really good. The studs are put there tastefully. I really like how they covered up this Technic piece with this tile. And especially on the front legs, they took the care to make the sides of the leg look good. And I really like the bending in the leg. There's no like actual articulation here. This first bend and then the second bend are locked in place. You can't change that at all. But again, it feels organic. Like, I feel like this fits this creature. Around the front, again, combination of lots of different texturing pieces. I really love how they're centered and everything too to fit the sections above it, even though the building system is completely different down here. And the use of the Nexonite shield to transition from 2 wide to 1 wide is done really nicely. And then the feet at the bottom is the same for all 4 legs, but you can see there's just little claws, and I think they look nice. The back legs are very similar to the front legs, just with a few differences. The Nexonite shield is tan instead of white, and that texturing piece right there is flipped the opposite direction from the front. But that is about the whole build of the Tallneck, so now let me show you how it removes from its base. The feet are just connected on with Technic pins, so you can lift them off individually. And there we go, there it is standing completely on its own. I think this is so impressive that it's able to connect onto a base and like stay in place, but when you remove it, it doesn't become like super fragile or anything. Like, I can still knock this around a little bit, it's not going to fall over super easy. And if you have it removed, there's actually a few new articulation options. For one, every foot's on a mini ball joint, so you can move those around if you want. And then the tops of the legs on a rigid Technic joint, so you can move them forward, move them back, as well as move them out. So if you want the Tallneck to be more stanced up, well, there you go. Or alternatively, if you want something really cursed, you can have it stand on 2 legs. I was trying to get this to balance, and I did actually get it once, but it was not on camera, and I haven't been able to recreate it. I know approximately 0 people are going to want to display their set like this, but I find the concept really funny, so I wanted to show what it looked like. But just know it is possible, just very tough to do. Anyway, my point in all of that was to say, with the restrictions of the stand removed, there's a ton more posability options for this guy. Personally, I think the stand is beautiful, so you should stick with it, but it does open up a lot of new stuff if you remove it. Regardless, though, coming back to the stand, here's how it looks with the Tallneck removed. And here's the stand with the Tallneck placed back on. You can see the base is varied in color. You have some tan right here, some green, some dark green, a little bit of foliage growing out of the ground, including some flowers. You have these plants back here. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be something exact from the game, so if anybody's a fan of Horizon who can let me know in the comments, please do. There's a really pretty looking tree here with some yellow and orange leaves on it. Parts of this tree can be rotated a bit if you want, and you can see the stem is all Technic. It's made from white and black. More flowers at the very base of that, too. Again, more foliage on the back, then we come to a somewhat rocky area. And you can see the Tallneck itself is stepping through the rocks. You have another plant growing right here. And then we come to this like broken down street light right here. It's got this vine growing around it. I think that's a super cool touch. Little leaves coming off of it, and of course the street light itself hanging down. I think this looks fantastic. It looks like something straight out of a mock. And it really adds to the overall aesthetic vibe of this set. But that's about it for the actual Tallneck and the base that it comes on. So now let's take a look at the one side build, the minifigure, and then I'll give you my overall thoughts. So the side build in the set's another one of these like robot animals, and this one I believe is called a Watcher. And you can see it's got these tiny little legs coming down, the tail at the very back, and then his face looks really cute. He's got these 2 bits hanging down which look like ears, and that light in the center you actually get 3 color options for it. You get trans blue, trans red, and trans yellow, so you could swap that out. I guess that's something from the game. Yeah, I think this guy looks really good. And if you attach him to the build, I think he integrates really well. Yeah, super cute. No complaints from me. So here is the one and only minifigure in this set. We have Aloy, who is the main character of Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West. Before I talk about the figure itself, let me take a quick look at the accessories so I can remove them. The first one is just a bow and arrow in white. The bow and arrow piece has been around for quite a while now, but it's cool to get in white. I believe that's a new color for it, and it looks really good. It fits her really well. And then our other accessory is this build of a spear, and I think this is so well designed. I love the little red feathers at the end. This piece of brown I've never seen before. Obviously I've seen the piece before in like gray and whatnot, but I believe brown's a new color for it, or if it's not, I've never gotten in that color before. But it works really well for this build, and then of course you have the spike coming at the very top to be the tip of the spear. Yeah, I think it fits her overall look really well. Super cool accessory to get, and a really fun build. But now with those removed, here's just the Aloy figure, and wow, what an amazing figure this is. I saw people talking about this like it was one of the best figures of the year, and you know what? I agree, this is one of the best figures of this year, if not the best figure of this year so far. This thing is fantastic all around. So every part of this figure is new, no reused face print or anything. All new molded hair piece, all new arm printing, torso print, leg print, and yeah, it all ties together perfectly. Starting with that arm printing, I love this. I love how she has a little wrap at the top of her arm, but it's not dual molded. But it still does a really good job of giving her that like short sleeved look. Very similar arm printing on the other side, just mirrored. You also may notice the arm printing has like metallic printing in it, so it like reflects in the light and everything, and again, just looks amazing. And then her all-new hairpiece, so intricately molded, and it's also dual molded. You can see the hairpiece itself is this rubbery orange, but there's a little bit of trans blue in the corner right here, and that's because Aloy wears some sort of earpiece in the game, and that earpiece is both reflected in the hairpiece and on the minifigure's head printing. Because if I remove that hairpiece for now, you can see her full face print, and there's a little triangle right there to represent her earpiece. With the hair removed, you can see the full detail of her torso, and I love how that looks. I love all the beads and everything, so many different colors used, and it's all printed super well. There's also no flesh tone shown on her torso, which unfortunately with modern day LEGO is good to see, because LEGO never knows how to print people's flesh tones correctly, because that means this figure looks good. There's nothing I have to sort of ignore because it's poorly printed. No, every part of that torso does look fantastic. The torso transitions into the legs pretty well. I will admit the printing on the legs is a little bit light. You can see the colors don't exactly match the torso. However, that's not the biggest deal in the world. And then if we turn her around, you can see her alternate face as well as her back torso print. Her back torso print, you can see she's got like this fur design back there, and then the rest of her torso is a very similar aesthetic to the front. And then her alternate face, again, really good. This time she's got one eyebrow up and sort of just like a expression. And you can see the earpieces on this side too. Yeah, this is such a well-designed figure. Easily one of the best, if not the best of the year so far. The highlight, I think, for sure is the hairpiece, but every other aspect of it's done so well. Other than, like, the legs being printed a little bit too lightly, I have absolutely no complaints with it. Extremely well done all around. But, what are my overall thoughts on this set? Well, as you heard me say at the beginning of this video, I think this is one of the best, if not the best, LEGO set of all time. As someone who's never played the Horizon games and doesn't really care about them, I am blown away by how good this set is. And it's one that I recommend every LEGO fan pick up. If you're a fan of Horizon, for sure, 100% get this, because like it adds another extra layer to this. But even if you don't care about Horizon, I recommend you get this set if you can afford it. The building process is really fun using all these wacky techniques. It doesn't really get repetitive either, it all feels like something different. And then the end result is just beautiful in every single way. I love the base, it's like a nice way to display the set. The minifigure's fantastic, and it just feels like there's such a world encompassed in this tiny little set. In terms of value too, 1,100 pieces for $80 is amazing, especially considering you get a really highly detailed minifigure with all new parts, dual molded hair, and arm printing. Yeah, I'm just sort of blown away. I have nothing but good things to say about this set. This is up there in the best LEGO sets of all time, and as I said, it might even be the best. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please press like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I do LEGO videos like this almost every day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!